All right, so if you're new to Chiba City, one of the first things you'll run into is the trash system. And yeah, it can look incredibly complex. But here's the secret. It's actually built on a few really simple, logical rules. And in this explainer, we're going to break it all down for you.
You've probably seen the official guide. You know the one. It's full of colors, different categories, and all these rules. And let's be real, when you first look at it, it is a lot. If you've ever just stared at it thinking, where do I even start? You are definitely not alone.
But here's the good news. The entire system is actually built on a very clear and logical foundation. Once you get the hang of the main principles, everything else just kind of clicks into place. I promise.
And really, this secret has been hiding in plain sight this whole time, right at the top of that guide. It all boils down to 3 golden rules. If you can master these, you've pretty much conquered 90% of the challenge.
And here they are. Number 1, separate your waste properly. Number 2, use the correct city-designated bags for the paid stuff. And number 3, get your trash out to the collection station by 8 a.m. on the right day. These 3 things are the absolute essentials. So, let's start with that first rule, separating your trash. The very first thing you should do with anything you're about to throw out is ask yourself one simple question. Is this recyclable? This is your first sort, where you pull out all the valuable stuff.
And here's a huge incentive to do that. All of these recyclable materials are collected completely free of charge. So this isn't just about being green. The city actively wants these materials back. It's a cornerstone of the whole system.
Okay, so that leads us to the big question, right? What exactly counts as a recyclable resource here in Chiba?
Well, it breaks down into 5 main groups. You've got your used paper, which is things like cardboard and magazines, then cloth items, like old shirts. After that, you have glass bottles, cans, and of course, plastic PET bottles. Just think of those 5 as your main checklist for recycling.
Now, let's get into the details for paper. It's not quite enough to just toss it in a pile. Newspapers, magazines, and cardboard all have to be bundled up separately with string. And for things like milk or juice cartons, you've got to rinse them, cut them open so they're flat, and then let them dry.
It's a similar idea for bottles and cans. The rule is simple. Just give them a quick rinse with water and take the caps off. For the plastic PET bottles, you also have to peel off that thin plastic label around the middle. It's a small step, but it makes a huge difference in the recycling process.
So why all the extra work? Well, the guide is pretty clear that unclean items can actually ruin a whole batch of otherwise good recycling. This is exactly why a greasy pizza box, for instance, can't be recycled with other paper. It's considered contaminated. So if it's dirty, it has to be treated as combustible waste instead. Okay, so you've pulled out all your recyclables. Awesome. Now you've got a pile of everything else. This is where the next big sort comes in. This pile gets divided into 2 main categories, combustible and incombustible.
And this brings us to those special city garbage bags. You do have to buy these, and you can find them at any local supermarket or convenience store. The green bag is for combustibles, basically anything that can be burned. The clear bag with the red writing is for everything else, the incombustibles.
So, what goes where? Well, combustibles in the green bag are things like your kitchen scraps, soft plastics, leather, and rubber. And here's a great rule of thumb from the guide. If you can bend a plastic item and it doesn't break, it's probably combustible. Incombustibles in the clear bag are the opposite. Hard plastics like toys, metal pots, and glass cups. Basically things that will break or won't bend at all. Now this is a super important detail for just managing trash at home. Combustible waste gets picked up twice a week, but incombustible waste only twice a month. This means you're going to be filling up a lot more of those green bags than the clear ones. We are almost there. We've talked about recyclables, combustibles, and incombustibles. But what about those tricky items that don't really seem to fit in anywhere? The special cases? We're talking about hazardous waste. This is stuff like fluorescent light bulbs, batteries, old mercury thermometers, and empty disposable lighters. These things can't go in the regular bags. They have to be put together in a separate, transparent bag for safety.
And here is a classic problem pretty much everyone runs into. You've got an incombustible item, like a broken umbrella, but it's way too long to fit inside the bag. So what are you supposed to do?
Well, the city actually has a really practical solution. As long as the main part of the item is down inside the bag and you can still tie the handles closed around it, it's totally fine for a part of it to stick out. This is the official way to throw out things like umbrellas or those big square laundry hangers.
But for the really big stuff, we're talking furniture, bicycles, or home appliances, that's a whole different category called sodai-gomi, or bulky waste. This is handled by a completely separate system, where you have to call and schedule a special pickup, and there's a fee for it.
So let's just bring it all home. Your job is a simple 4-part sort. First, pull out the recyclables. Then, you separate everything else into combustibles and incombustibles. And just set aside any hazardous items. That's it. You do that part, and the city can do its job of keeping Chiba clean and sustainable.
You know, in the end, it's more than just a bunch of rules for garbage. When an entire community commits to a system this detailed, it's really making a statement. It's about shared responsibility, it's about respecting the environment, and it's about taking pride in the place you call home. And it kind of makes you wonder, what else can a community achieve when everyone decides to do their part?